Hello children, today I am going to tell you about one important part of a cell, most important part of the cell called as the nucleus. Initially I told you there are three components of the cell, three basic components. One is the cell membrane, second is the nucleus and third is the cytoplasm. Cell membrane gives proper shape to the cell. Cytoplasm is the site of all the activities, all the chemical reactions, all the activities that take place within the cell. And nucleus is the part of the cell which controls all the activities of the cell. Whatever activities take part in the cell are controlled by the nucleus. Therefore, it is called brain of the cell. That's why it's called brain of the cell. It controls all the activities of the cell. This nucleus is having a double-walled nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane has two walls, inner and outer walls. Double-walled nuclear membrane. This nuclear membrane is not continuous. See, there are tiny gaps, tiny pores in between. These tiny pores are called nuclear pores. They are called nuclear pores. Through these nuclear pores, materials enter or leave the nucleus. Materials enter or leave the nucleus through the nuclear pores. See, outside the nucleus there is cytoplasm, that is within the cell membrane, and inside the nuclear membrane there is another clear jelly-like structure which is called as nucleoplasm. Outside cytoplasm, inside nucleoplasm. In this nucleoplasm, you see a thin thread-like structure, which cannot be easily observed under a microscope. It is very inconspicuous filamentous structure, which is called chromatin. This chromatin later changes into a chromosome. Chromatin changes into chromosome during cell division. Chromatin changes into spiral rod-like structures which are called as chromosomes only during cell division. Also, you see one or more dark spherical structures within the nucleus which are called as nucleolus or nucleoli. Now, what this chromatin contains? Chromatin contains a nucleic acid which is called as deoxyribonucleic acid. It contains the genetic material or the hereditary material called as DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, which is unique to every individual. No two organisms have same DNA, right? So DNA is present in the chromatin. You can count the number of chromosomes. Each chromosome will be made up of two parallel strands which are called as chromatids. We call them as sister chromatids. These chromatids are held together at a point called as centromere. Both the chromatids are held together at a point called as centromere. Only during cell division you can count the exact number of chromosomes. For example, man has 46 chromosomes. Man has 46 chromosomes in 23 pairs. Man has 23 pairs, right? Like that. A dog has about 78. Wheat plant has about 72. Wheat plant has 42. 42 are there in a wheat plant, and dog has 78, whereas a sugarcane has 80 chromosomes. Sugarcane has 80 chromosomes. Dog has 78 chromosomes. Some insects have more than 200 chromosomes. You can count the exact number of chromosomes only during cell division. Right? Now, what chromosome is made up of? Two things. One is the nucleic acid, that is DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and proteins forms a coiled structure which is called as a chromosome. In case of human beings, these proteins are called histones. Proteins are called histones. So protein plus DNA together form chromosome, which carry the hereditary characters. Means what? See, this DNA molecule has different parts, functional units, which are called genes. The functional units of DNA are called genes. Each gene carries one character. Each gene carries one character. Like there is a gene for type of hair, color of hair, type of hair, curly hair or straight hair, blunt hair, type of nose, type of lips, type of ears, type of forehead, the chin, etc. Even the arrangement of teeth in our gums is because of genes. Genes carry the characters. Say many times we use the term, he has carried the genes from his father, he has carried the genes from his grandfather, like that. Because genes transfer the characters from one generation to another generation. That's why they are called hereditary characters. They are called them as hereditary characters or genetic characters. We use the term hereditary. Characters or genetic characters, alright? And this controls all the activities of the cell. For that reason, nucleus is called brain of the cell. Nucleus is called brain of the cell. In case of prokaryotic cells, what do you mean by prokaryotic cells? The cells which are very primitive, very old, crude type. They do not have a definite nucleus in their cells. The nuclear material, that is the DNA, is present in some corner of the cytoplasm. It is present in some corner of the cytoplasm. There is no nuclear membrane which binds the genetic material. Such undefined area in a prokaryotic cell which contains the nuclear material DNA is called a nucleoid. Nucleoid is the undefined area in a prokaryotic cell which contains the nuclear material DNA. Example, bacterial cells. Bacterial cells are called primitive cells. They do not contain the nuclear membrane, nor do they contain structures like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, like that. They don't have membrane bound structures. Non-membrane structures are there, like ribosomes, but membrane bound structures are not there in a primitive cell. That's what they are called prokaryotic cells. Alright? Now, these cells undergo cell division. I told cell division. Cell division is very, very significant, whether it is a unicellular organism or a multicellular organism. Cell division has different significance, importance. There are two types of cell division which take place in every organism. What is a cell division? What happens in a cell division? What are the types of cell division? I will explain in my next video. I will discuss specifically cell division in my next video. Till then, keep reading, share my video, subscribe to my channel, and all the best. Thank you.